All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. When we picture success, it's almost always a movie scene, right? We're talking those massive luxury mansions bathed in that perfect golden hour lighting, private jets idling on the runway, sleek supercars tearing through neon-lit streets. It's that ultimate dream of financial freedom. But today, we're completely stripping away the illusion to uncover the actual blueprint of the self-made. We're going to contrast that flashy, overnight dream of wealth with the disciplined, highly effective reality that literally builds it from the ground up. So we have to start with a pretty harsh question. Why exactly do millions of people work incredibly hard, yet stay broke? I mean, picture those towering modern city skylines. They are absolutely packed with ambitious young professionals, grinding away in office after office, day in and day out. They're putting in the sweat equity, no doubt about it. But here's the thing. Trading your time for money, no matter how relentlessly you grind, is a mathematical trap. It's just not enough to build lasting wealth. If you're only working for money, you're literally going to be working forever. To snap out of that reality, we desperately need a perspective shift. Think about Thomas Edison. He once said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Now that right there, that is the ultimate flex of a high-end, incredibly resilient mindset. You see, the truly wealthy, the real self-made entrepreneurs out there, they don't look at failure as some kind of crushing defeat. Actually, scratch that. They don't even see it as failure. They just see it as data. It's just a totally calculated step on their journey of self-improvement. Okay, let's get right into the actual mechanics of this. Act 1, the software, rewiring the mindset. Listen, before we even touch a single dollar, we've got to fix the operating system upstairs. It really all boils down to scarcity versus abundance. The traditional scarcity mindset, it absolutely fears risk. It insists on trading time for a paycheck, and its default setting is saying, "I can't afford it." The abundance mindset, on the other hand, is the true entrepreneur. They take calculated asymmetric risks. They're completely obsessed with creating value. And instead of just shutting down, they ask a much better question: how can I afford it? Because wealth, for sure, always begins as a thought pattern. And that brings us to this absolutely crucial point. True wealth is measured in freedom, not dollars. You can have that premium, high-end lifestyle making hundreds of thousands a year, but if you're spending every dime just to maintain the illusion of being rich, you're basically just a highly paid prisoner to your paycheck. Being genuinely wealthy isn't about the massive income. It's about breaking free from the dependency on it. It is entirely about owning your own time. Right, moving on to Act 2, the engine, high-income future skills. This is the rocket fuel for your wealth. The global economy is accelerating at a totally unprecedented pace right now, and heavy-hitting industries like IT, finance, and manufacturing are rigorously building out their talent pipelines. But here's the kicker. They are not looking for average workers anymore. They are actively hunting for specific, high-level digital capabilities. We're talking AI, data science, cybersecurity. They desperately need people who can actually navigate the future. So by mastering these very specific high-income skills, things like artificial intelligence and machine learning, data science, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and full-stack development, you completely flip the script. You put yourself right in a seller's market where you can easily command up to 35% higher salaries. This is exactly how today's most ambitious young professionals are generating the massive active income they need to fund their future assets. It's a total game changer. And that leads us straight into Act 3, the multiplier: assets, liabilities, and compounding. Okay, pay attention because this is the core mechanic of wealth. It's the golden rule of the self-made. An asset is simply something with economic value that puts money into your pocket. A liability is an obligation that actively drains money out of your pocket. Now, the average person gets a year-end bonus and instantly buys a liability just to look successful on social media. But the wealthy? They quietly live below their means and strategically deploy their capital to buy assets. They're buying businesses, real estate, equities. They buy things that pay them back. Just look at the silent, explosive power of compound interest here. Let's say you take a baseline $100,000 investment, compounded at a pretty standard 8% annually for 10 years. Boom, it explodes to over $215,000. And the best part? While you are out living your life, whether you're sleeping, eating, or jet-setting around the world, compound interest is just quietly working in the background, building your financial freedom. Time is, without a doubt, your absolute greatest multiplier. So how do we actually capture this magic? By deploying our capital into passive income vehicles. And you can start wherever you are. You can scale from super low investment digital products, like selling templates or launching an online course, all the way up to heavy hitting, high investment vehicles like dividend paying stocks or buy to let rental properties. Think of every single asset you build as hiring a tireless employee whose only job is to put money into your pocket 24/7. How amazing is that? Finally, we bring it all down to earth with Act 4, the execution, discipline, and daily habits. Because despite all those cinematic, glamorous visions of success we talked about, true financial independence is actually executed through relentless, completely unglamorous daily discipline. Tom Corley's famous Rich Habits study paints a pretty stark picture. The average person, about 77% of them play the lottery, basically praying for a miracle, and they spend hours just zoning out in front of the TV. But the wealthy person, 88% of them are reading 30-plus minutes every single day. They're networking. They're volunteering. It just proves that millionaires aren't sitting around waiting on random luck. They engineer their own success. They filter out the noise, dodge the distractions, and hyper-prioritize personal development. They literally treat their own minds like their most valuable asset. And hey, building this doesn't happen overnight. It starts really small with what we call the 1% savings habit. Step 1, you round up your daily purchases. Step 2, cut back on those tiny, sneaky daily expenses. Step 3, make it completely foolproof by automating your transfers. Seriously, making small, frictionless choices, like deciding to skip an impulse coffee buy so you can automate a transfer right into your investment account. Those tiny moves compound over the years into massive, life-changing financial wins. It is always the micro decisions that build the macro wealth. 80%. Take a second to let that staggering number sink in. That represents the percentage of America's millionaires who are entirely first generation and self-made. Think about the emotional weight of that fact for a second. 80% of these highly successful people didn't inherit a single dime. They started exactly where you might be sitting right now. And that right there proves that wealth is a replicable system, not some lucky inheritance. It is a precise formula of mindset, skill, and pure discipline. To wrap up this explainer, I really want you to ask yourself, what choice are you going to make today? Because your future is totally determined by your daily choices. True wealth isn't a lottery ticket. It's a daily decision. It's the ultimate culmination of your mindset, the skills you acquire, the assets you build, and your daily discipline. So, as you step out into the world today, what are you going to decide to build?